on Ethan, what do I need to do? Okay, so let's take a look back at our notes. Okay, so you said 2x, well, 2x plus 3 is less than 5, and 2x plus 3 is greater than negative 5. Okay, so tell me, what does this, when we have a less than, an absolute value that's less than, you can do this, but what's the word? There's got to be a special word in between. Not for less than, greater than we put or. It's the union. So it's going to be and so we're going to want to put solve and see what they have in common. And where they overlap, that's the solution. So we can do it that way. So let's go ahead and do it this way. And then I'll show you another way that this can be done. Okay, so subtract 3 from both sides. Here we get 2x is less than 2. Subtract 3 again. 2x is greater than negative 8. And we're going to divide by 2 all the way across. X is less than 1. And x is greater than negative 4. And means where they overlap. So because I was looking at that number line thinking that's not going to work. And it's because it needs to be negative 4. Thank you. All right, so when we have x is less than 1, that's going to be a filled-in circle at 1 going left, and then x has to be greater than negative 4, so it's everything in between 1 and a negative 4, or negative 4 and 1. So there's one way to do this problem. Yes?
The first time I did negative 5 is greater than 2x plus 3.
Okay. Hold that thought. I'm going to write that on up here. Everybody have this? Okay. Let's give me a bigger eraser. Okay, so Aiden Lear is saying he wrote this. Right? Is that what you're saying? Okay, so when we have less than, an absolute value that is less than, we can skip writing the two separate inequalities with and. We can write it one way where it's in between. And this way, for me, it is easier to graph it because I see right away when I solve for x, it's in between these two values. I know it is. I'm just going to put them one, starting at one, going to the other, and I'm done. So to work this out, we would again subtract 3. But whatever we do in the middle, we've got to do to the outsides. So I get a negative 8 is less than 2x is less than 2, which I would say that as 2x is in between a negative 8 and 2. Then I'm going to divide by 2 to solve, and I'm going to get x is in between a negative 4 and 1, which is the same as x is greater than a negative 4 and x is less than 1. So then graphing is going to be the same thing, negative 4, open circle at both, and it's in between those two values. Okay. Everybody good? Mm-hmm. All right, so less than, we can write it as x is something in between 2, or we can write it with as and then make sure that when we graph, we're talking about in between if that's where they intersect.
What is the interval notation?
Oh yeah, what would that be, interval notation, Michael?
Parentheses 4, comma 1, parentheses.
Negative 4.
Negative 4.
Okay, so 3 answers. We've got our inequality, we've got this, and we've got this. Inequality graph and interval notation. We've seen all that stuff before, right? That was way back in the beginning. So how nice is it that that's like nothing. You know how to do that because we practiced that and practiced that and practiced that at the beginning of the year. Okay, so we have two with our solving inequalities by algebraically. We have where we're going to create two inequalities using the word or we're just going to write a single inequality. Well, it's a combined inequality, and then solve and graph. With the time remaining, I'm going to give you a couple problems, and they need to be turned in before the end of the hour. So go ahead and go to your homework log. And you are going to, from page 68, you are going to do 11 through 14. And that needs to be turned in before the end of the hour. And I need to push stop because I am